Thank you so much for that kind introduction. Most importantly, thanks for inviting me and for doing this event. Really have been grateful to you, Satya, for your friendship and guidance and wise counsel over the years. And I know the East-West Center has played, such an important role in demonstrating why ASEAN matters for America, why America matters for ASEAN. And that could have been the theme, I think, of the US-ASEAN Special Summit last week. We thought the summit was incredibly successful, and that's what we were hoping to do, hoping to demonstrate very clearly to the American public and the American people why the ASEAN region is so vital to America's future security and prosperity. And conversely, we were trying to demonstrate again to our close partners in ASEAN why America matters for them. I'm really delighted to share some of the outcomes of last week's summit, and then talk a little bit about how it demonstrated the breadth and depth of our strategic partnership. We believe that the summit reflects the administration's commitment to our relationships in Southeast Asia and with ASEAN as an institution. We obviously have longstanding partnerships and treaty alliances with many friends across this vital region. And again, the summit underscored the importance of US-ASEAN cooperation to ensuring security and prosperity for our combined 1 billion people, as well as for the broader international community. So I viewed last week in many ways a celebration of the long history that we have together, the many things we've accomplished, and our bright future together. This was the first US-ASEAN summit held in Washington, D.C., and it was the largest in-person summit of the Biden-Harris administration. From my perspective, and I was honored to have what shall we say, a ringside seat for the entire two-day summit, we thought the event was a real home run. We commemorated the 45th anniversary of establishing the US-ASEAN Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, marked by expanded engagement on health, security, climate, transportation, and sustainable infrastructure, and women's empowerment, and more. Again, this is 45 years of relations with ASEAN. We were delighted in our outcomes document that we've announced that we are, in fact, going to upgrade our partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership. We had high-level engagement. It started last Thursday with Speaker Nancy Pelosi's lunch with ASEAN leaders on Capitol Hill. It was followed by a fantastic business event hosted by the US-ASEAN Business Council and the US Chamber of Commerce. The president hosted the leaders at the White House for dinner on Thursday night. And then on Friday, we had a full day of dialogue at the State Department, hosted by the president, the vice president, and multiple cabinet secretaries, 6 total, I believe, cabinet secretaries. I thought that in the summit, the leaders had extraordinarily substantive and candid discussions, very productive exchanges on some of the most pressing issues that we all face today, including, of course, the crisis in Burma. You may have noted that we did reserve an empty chair for the Burmese delegate at the proceedings. And we thought that that empty chair represented not just the unfulfilled vision of the people of Burma for a democratic future, but also the regime's empty promises to the Burmese people. Our ASEAN colleagues agreed on the urgency of and the need to hold the regime fully accountable to the ASEAN 5-point consensus, including the cessation of violence and the pursuit of a peaceful resolution of the crisis. I think the leaders addressed a whole broad range of other issues, including the PRC's provocative actions in the South China Sea. They also discussed the DPRK's continued provocations, which are destabilizing not just in the Korean Peninsula, but threatens to destabilize the entire region. The leaders also talked very candidly about Russia's continued assault on Ukraine and the Ukrainian people, and on Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and how that threatens the foundations of the international system. We're very proud of the joint vision statement that we negotiated with our friends in ASEAN. We thought it was quite powerful. It does lay out our vision for a freer, more prosperous, more interconnected, and more resilient Indo-Pacific region. Again, in it, I think you'll see very strong language on a host of issues from Burma to Russia, Ukraine, to maritime issues, to our cooperation on a range of transnational challenges, including climate change and combating the COVID-19 pandemic. We were also Happy that when you look at that language and it talks about our cooperation, it also highlighted our close collaboration with other partnerships and groupings in the region, including the Quad, and our work together on the Quad vaccine initiative. In the joint statement, we also agreed to collaborate on sub-regional development, enhance our people-to-people ties, and many other issues. In addition, the United States released a fact sheet that outlined America's engagement and many of our new initiatives that we intend to launch vis-a-vis ASEAN. The fact sheet announced over $150 million in new initiatives, but I do want to underscore these were simply $150 million in new initiatives, and they build on the more than $12.1 billion in development, economic, health, and security assistance that we have provided to Southeast Asia and our friends in ASEAN over the last 24 years. And that includes more than $1.4 billion in humanitarian assistance. So we expect all of these new initiatives will mobilize billions more in private financing that will further deepen US-ASEAN relations, strengthen ASEAN centrality, and expand our common capacity to achieve our shared objectives. I think one more important outcome from the summit that I do want to underscore this morning, Satu and friends, is that President Biden announced that senior NSC official Johannes Abraham will be his nominee to be the new U.S. ambassador to ASEAN. For those of you who know Johannes, you know that he is a world-class person. He is a longtime and very close aide to the president, incredibly capable. He understands better than anyone the president's foreign policy approach, and if confirmed, I am very confident he will be an amazing ambassador, and he will ensure ever closer and better communications between the United States, the ASEAN Secretariat, and ASEAN member states. Satu, I just want to underscore, maybe more than anything, I think the US-ASEAN Special Summit last week demonstrated America's commitment to ASEAN and to Southeast Asia. And that commitment extends beyond just leader-level engagements. But we did attempt last week to show tremendous respect to the 9 leaders from Southeast Asia who were present. We really tried to roll out the red carpet and show just how much we respect them and their countries and ASEAN as an institution. But of course, our engagement with Southeast Asia extends well beyond just leaders. And we tried to demonstrate that last week as well. Last week, we hosted a number of civil society roundtables with activists from the region, as well as an event with the region's diaspora community in the United States, which really, I think, underscores, again, our deep ties to the region. Our future as a nation, our economic, military, and diplomatic power depend on our Indo-Pacific diplomacy, and our engagement with ASEAN also depends on our positive, affirmative, and proactive approach that we've laid out in our Indo-Pacific strategy. And again, that envisions a region that is ever more open and free, connected, prosperous, secure, and resilient. ASEAN is central to that. We strongly support ASEAN centrality. We strongly back the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific. As President Biden said at last week's summit, the ASEAN-US partnership is critical to meeting the moment we find ourselves in history right now. The President went on to promise that we'll continue to elevate this partnership and strengthen our cooperation to make a better, safer, and more prosperous world for all of our children. So Satu, let me stop there. Obviously, we thought the summit was a great success. Grateful to you for all of your support for hosting today's event. Look forward to learning from all of you. Thank you, my friend.